Good evening.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Yes, Mr. President, we understand. We understand you're furious because you said the US bombing of Iran would be followed by peace and harmony, what Donald Trump called a complete and total ceasefire. It didn't happen. Any more than the immediate peace deal between Russia and Ukraine he thought would happen happened, or any more than China knuckling under faced with American tariffs happened, or Canada suddenly wanting to join the United States. All together now, saying something on social media doesn't make it so. Thank you for your attention. The other really noteworthy thing I thought about the Trump verbal explosion before he climbed onto a helicopter earlier in the day was his fury at Israel. The American alliance has been absolutely central to Israel's existence. It has been tested and it's been testy many times before, but I don't recall an American president being so publicly angry with his ally as Trump is now. So how serious is that for the Netanyahu government? Let's put that question to Daniel Levy, the president of the US Middle East Project and former peace negotiator, who's advised several Israeli prime ministers. Daniel, thank you very much indeed for joining LBC tonight. How much of a shock do you think it will have been for the Israeli government to hear the genuine fury in Trump's voice about what Netanyahu did, launching those missiles after he'd been told, in Trump's view, not to?
So, Andrew, I'm also pinching myself. I think we're going through this remarkable cycle of events. You always have to bed in the fact that this is President Trump. But you went from the Americans bombing on Israel's behalf, something Prime Minister Netanyahu had spent the better part of 3 decades trying to get happen. And then he goes and unleashes this verbal assault, which is, I believe, unprecedented. And it wasn't just that he expressed frustration, he actually gave a command to the Israelis. Because we've heard frustration from American presidents. We heard President Biden, for instance, say Israel shouldn't really be doing this, but will continue to give you the arms to carry out your war crimes in Gaza, etc. Here Trump said, turn the planes around. Israel took out, I think, 1 radar station, tail between its legs, turned its planes around. And we are in a place that I'm sure when they were planning this in the Israeli political and military headquarters, they did not anticipate, which is that Israel has become a controversial thing on the American political right. They probably lost, look, they lost the Democrat voting base long ago. Democrat elected leaders haven't caught up with that, but that's the trajectory we're on. Now it is a fault line inside MAGA, inside the Republican Party, and they have created this scenario of, are you Israel first or are you America first? That has, I would argue, longer-term consequences than whatever was done to Fordow or any of those other facilities.
That's absolutely fascinating. We're just hearing from Tehran that they feel that, in a sense, in some ways they have won this because they're still there. Their nuclear program, one way or another, is still there. And Israel has been leashed by President Trump. Do you see this as a kind of turning point in this long, long struggle between these two countries, Iran and Israel, slightly to Israel's detriment?
Again, we're catching our breath. And look, each side has its victory narrative, okay? And that's partly how we're able to be in this de-escalation today. But an Israeli victory narrative, which was looking like something, you know, that you would have reported and others would have reported, looking like something that had a strong head of wind behind it. When you put regime change on the table, you kind of create an equation whereby if the regime is still in place, it has won. Given that Israel had unprecedented missile attacks, they didn't take things out that cannot be replaced. They didn't do that much damage. But this was a new thing for Israel. Yeah. When you have America turning on you like that, so it's not the strong victory, but I think we probably go with an effort at misdirection if we say what's going to happen between these two great foes, because Israel and Iran don't actually come to blows very much. And the core, the heart of the issue is the Palestinian issue. That is why the region is so angry with Israel. That is why Israel is such a radicalizing, destabilizing influence. That is where Israel has no political plan. It is trying to remove the Palestinians. And this, I think, is what is creating this world of future misery.
Daniel, that is absolutely fascinating. I'm changing my mind about this as I listen to you and others in the course of the programme, I have to say.